So CloudMinds, what it does, our vision is to create a very secure cloud network that is a robot operator. So what does that mean? Our secret sauce is a thing called HARIX, and that is an acronym, HARIX. It stands for Human Augmented Robotic Intelligence and Extreme Reality. So what does that mean exactly? Well, it's the human augmentation that's going to help the robotic intelligence with this cloud to make robots smarter until robots can then become fully autonomous. Most robots in today's world, if you think of robots in manufacturing, there's very few consumer robots that are really true. Technically a toaster is a robot. Technically an oven is a robot, right? Something, right? But if you say, with some kind of AI, with some kind of interaction, right? Most of those are in a commercial or even industrial setting. Think of robots that assemble cars or robots in Amazon factories, right? And so, but you still have to have a lot of human control, like local human control.
Gotcha.
So on site, right? Moving the robot from starting point A to B or whatever. And so what CloudMinds wants to do is say, look, we can put a module, onto your robot. We are manufacturer agnostic, right? So we have manufacturer partners, and then we put a module on there.
You guys are the brain. You guys are the brains that go into the robots that somebody else builds.
That's exactly right. And so we have a very secure, built on blockchain technology, low latency on 5G network. It works on 4G LTE, but when 5G comes, that's really when it will go, because now we have a lot of modules that sit inside our cloud brain that can have facial recognition or speech to text or translation, all kinds of things. And then we actually have
So the robot is connected to the cloud, so it's just constantly getting fed and constantly improving and constantly getting new data and information just all the time. It's not like you buy the robot and then you have to like get a download later on to make it improve. It's just always.
That is the long-term vision, and there are some of our robots that can do that now. Most of the time we start with the vendor partner, though. They already have some robot that is able to operate autonomously at a local level, right? So it doesn't need a cloud, but eventually we want to say, look, take the processing power out of this local machine, right? Just put the sensors on it, input data, right? And then some processing, but like let all the thinking be done up here, the controlling done up here, right? It's just mechanics down at the bottom. So you free up space, you free up cost, now if this robot learns to do something, right? Now all the robots learn to do something.
And
right?
now
so
that's what I read on the website and what you guys are doing now. Is that not happening yet? That's the goal. You're getting there, or that is happening today?
Yes. So it depends on which product. It depends on which product, right?
Okay.
So we have a couple products that we have come very far in that are using the full scope of HARIX now, of our cloud brain now. But there are still some products
is that Cloud Pepper and XR1?
Yes, exactly. So Cloud Pepper is XR1. But we have future versions, XR2, XR4, in the pipeline, right?
Okay, cool. All right, just to summarize there for the listeners, then you guys are the brains behind these robots, and eventually they'll all just be connected in the cloud, and that's how they're getting their information and learning. That's where it's headed, pretty fast, probably.
That's where it's headed. Yeah, I mean, I would say the roadblock right now is not what we can do in the cloud. That's built. Like that's done.
All right.
The kind of the either bottleneck or the hurdle yet with technology is we need to have very low latency, right? So we need to have 5G, right? So in some of the smart cities right now, we're working with local municipalities around the world where you've got some cities that are becoming a smart city where they've already started 5G, and now you can have, because if it's thinking back and forth in the cloud, right, it's got to be fast. If you ask Siri a question, for example, or Alexa a question, right, you don't want to sit there and watch the thing, think while it goes up and comes back, right? So you got to have low latency, and it has to be secure, right? Security is important. Privacy is important, right? So so the 5G is one, and then the other one is just simply the technology on the mechanics of the robot. So XR1 is very advanced. I mean, you've seen it, I'm sure, online. It can thread a needle. It can unscrew the lid off of a bottle. It can pour a cup of coffee. I mean, you think about the autonomous, the code and the sensor data that is required for. So if I pick up this cup of coffee and it's empty, I know in my head somewhere. I can't tell you how much this weighs. I can take a pretty good guess, like I don't know, 8 ounces maybe, or something, with the cup and the water put together. But if it's full, it's probably 16 ounces.
Okay.
So I need to grab it just a little bit harder, right? You know, and I can't just. And if I think it's really heavy, and I start to lift it up, but it's really light, I'm going to go, whoo, right? You know, so the robot has to instantly start to grab, barely pick up the object, realize how heavy it is, identify with its camera eyes, is this glass? How thick is the glass? How hard can I grab it before it crushes? Or is it plastic? So it has some flex, and that's okay. I mean, just the simple act of picking up an object.
Wow.
The robot has to think, and we know this. We instinctively learn this when we're 6 months old, because we pick up blocks and we pick up, you know, little toys, and then we put them in our mouths and we chew on them, and right. Robots don't. So they learn this, but it's, you know, it's robots don't have the subjectiveness yet, right? We're like, well, it's kind of this, it's kind of this. Everything's gray with humans, right? Robots are black and white, it's zeros and ones. Right?
Oh,
so how do you program, right?
Who are you selling? So right now, are you selling Cloud Pepper and XR1? I'm looking at the website as we talk too. Are you selling these units? Or wait a minute. Okay, no, the units are sold by another company, but you guys are how does that work? So are you the sales guy that sells them? I don't know.
Okay, sure. We have agreements with different folks. So we can sell. We also have distribution partners that can sell as well, right?
I see.
Yeah.
And people are buying. Yes, people are ordering XR1s right now.
It is mostly commercial. It is not residential, right? Not private at this point. There are some very rich folks who say, you know, hey, I want to have this robot, but the functionality from what it can do in your home is still a little bit limited right now until technology gets better, right? It cannot cook a meal for you yet. It cannot scrub your toilet yet. I mean, we do believe that with the you know, how fast technology is moving and what we've got in the pipeline, it'll be there, you know, 5 years, 6 years, maybe 10 max.
That leads me into something I really want to talk about. I want to spend some time on this if you don't mind. So
sure.
You think within 5 years I can go to Amazon and order my XR1 for my house? Is that your guess?
It would not surprise me at all. I mean, that is our plan. That's our goal.
Okay. All right. And
now the amount of functionality, I mean, the same thing like when Alexa first came out, right? For example, I use Alexa as an example, right?
Okay.
When Alexa first came out, it's functionality, it's the amount of apps you can put on it or whatever it's called. I don't know. I don't use Alexa, but you know what I'm talking about. How many things you can put onto it, whatever they call it, right? Tools or something, right? It was, you know, a book of this many. And now it's like this many, right? And they're finding more ways every day to lock into them. I've got, you know, Alexa on the Sonos back here, and Alexa can now control your Samsung, you know, stovetop, right? So it's just growing more and more. And I think that's what you're going to see with any type of automated solution, AI. You're going to see. So, you know, XR, you know, it's not going to be XR1 5 years from now. It's going to be XR5 or XR10 or whatever it is, right? And it will be smart, and it will have. We will have agreements with, you know, Samsung or LG or whoever, so that it can actually go over and it knows the stove, and it doesn't have to actually push the button on the stove. It'll just, you know, think. You know, like we have robots right now that walk up to an elevator and they don't push the button on the elevator. They just, you know, there's a wireless interface, and the robot just walks up, and effectively what it's doing wirelessly is just going door. Yeah. But you know, you don't see that, right? And then the door opens, and once that door opens, the signal goes back to the robot that says, okay, the door's now opening. So the robot says, okay, I don't have to push the button anymore. Then it gets on the elevator, and says, 41111, and so, and then it goes off on 1, right? And the elevator says, you are now on floor 1. And then the robot will go to 2, and then 3, and then 4. So we do have robots today that go in and go up on their own, that have been integrated with the elevator manufacturer. That's happening right now today.
That's happening right now today.
High-rise buildings, and they're like coming out, cleaning the lobbies, going back in, going up to the next floor, cleaning the lobby, come back up to the next floor, right? And then goes down to the basement, goes into the dock, and you're good.
The Riderflex podcast features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviews. Our show can be heard just about anywhere these days, but you can visit riderflex.com and click on the podcast page to hear all the previous episodes and learn more about the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Contact us at the email address info@riderflex.com or 888-964-5876. Thanks so much for listening, and if you enjoy our show, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like the episodes.